Just a little bit about myself before I get started. My background is in systems engineering. So my degree is in management information systems. I attended the University of Buffalo in New York and spent a number of years moving computer centers around the United States. And so worked for companies like IBM, AT&T, Occidental Chemical, the little Flash Cube building there next to the falls on the New York side, and the Federal Reserve Bank of the United States. And I just became bored with that kind of work. It was very profitable, but it was from my head only. And I remembered walking down the hallway in one of the offices and thinking to myself, if I'm still doing this when I'm 50, I'll have messed up my life because this is not satisfying a part of me that I need to satisfy. And I'm now 46, and I did get out. And I've done well. So, no, I'm very blessed. I actually shifted, stepped out of that kind of work. Became a youth worker, worked with high school, college age, inner city type kids, and just loving on them, wanted them to know that there's a compassionate creator who knows and cares, and that's why I'm here. I believe in that, and so I will serve you well because I care. And so I'm going to talk about, just for a minute as I get into the presentation today, lightning. You know, I believe that when people go to bed at night, they get very honest about life. You know, they think about the ones that they care about. And it might be economic issues. It might be healthcare issues. There was a poll called the Lewis-Harris poll that went and did a study, and it was published in the USA Today newspaper a number of years back, that said 97% of the people who lay awake at night do so thinking about their health or their finances. If you were to begin to see lightning flash in the same place again, and then again, and then again, you would stop and you would say, what is this that I'm seeing? I have to turn from whatever it is I'm doing and see what this special thing is. And so with that, I'm going to lead into who we are at Max International. It starts with Stephen Scott. You know, if you see that lightning flashing again and again and again, and then suddenly you see a lightning rod that's attracting everything like that, that's who Stephen Scott is. And Stephen Scott started by bringing together some pretty incredible business gentlemen, Bill Guthrie and Greg Reninger. And I like to look at what's happened on this side of Max as a convergence of leaders. If you have an economic challenge or you have a healthcare challenge, you need to bring together sometimes more than one person to answer the call of what's happening. And so Steve brought together Bill Guthrie and Greg Reninger. You know, they're the founders of the Guthrie-Reninger infomercial company. How many have heard of that? Okay, yeah, that's billions worldwide. I mean, I've been in the Philippines watching Guthrie-Reninger infomercials. I've been in Australia, New Zealand, and Fiji, and a number of places. So they're the world's largest TV direct marketing company, and they do about $1.8 billion in annual sales. And Steve Scott, who's our founder, brought them together. And as far as Steve Scott, how many of you know who Steve Scott is? Okay, most of you. Have you ever seen the Total Gym infomercial with Chuck Norris and Christy Brinkley? You know, that they're much more famous than Steve is, but Steve helped put them around the world with that infomercial. And so he's a New York Times best-selling author, and I will say that he is the reason I came to the company. I often think people follow people more than they follow products or compensation systems and so forth. And that's why I'm here at Max. Anyways, not only have we had these business icons converge into Max International, but also leading medical researchers have come to this company. It started with the late Dr. Robert Keller, who was on the scientific review panels for the National Institutes of Health and the Veterans Administration. Now, the National Institutes of Health is the kind of the U.S. Medical complex, if you will, and the Veterans Administration is our military medical complex. And they are arguably some of the best funded organizations in the world regarding health and wellness and medicine and so forth. And here's Dr. Keller sitting on their scientific review panel making decisions where grants and what's good science and what will be approved. And this gentleman shows up in Max International, you know, with his first generation glutathione accelerator, connects up with Steve to bring a technology that could change the world. How many have experienced Max GXL? That's our first generation product. Yeah, brilliant technology. You know, Dr. Keller was voted one of the top 2,000 research scientists of the 21st century by Cambridge University, very prestigious. He's published more than 100 articles himself. I mean, if a doctor gets one article published in a peer-reviewed setting, that is significant. But 100? I'm wanting you to see that these are the doctors of doctors that have brought this technology. It's very unique that this kind of technology is in a company like we are. And so Dr. Keller, 6 months before Dr. Keller passed away, what should happen, Dr. Herbert Nagasawa walks into Max. We didn't find him. He found us. He heard what we were doing. And he came into the Max office and he said, I have the next generation for glutathione acceleration. Now, very few people knew that Dr. Keller had any health issues whatsoever. But 6 months before he passes away, Herbert Nagasawa walks in the door. Bam! That is lightning. That does not happen. There is so much that's significant about Max that you need to see. This is a company that has a mission that I believe has some providential guidance in it. And so here's Dr. Nagasawa, 45 years of professorship and research. He was the 32-year senior editor of the Journal of Medicinal Chemistry. That is the definition of peer-reviewed. 165 peer-reviewed published articles himself. Now it's up to 170 is what I was just told. But do you see the level of research, doctors, that have brought the technology that you're able to experience today? And for you who have decided to be involved with us as a business, you're able to represent these legacy technologies. I mean, these are people that were compassionately motivated to stay in the laboratories, to stay connected emotionally to their patients and the ones they cared about, and say, I will live with that angst inside of me until I find an answer that can help those people. And to me, that is the essence of good business. That is the essence of what makes a great physician versus just a doctor who has a credential. And so to me, I'm so proud to represent the technologies that these people gave their life for and take them to the world and change people's health. So very, very powerful. The convergence of leaders. Not only do we have these medical research doctors and biochemists and so forth, we have doctors and scientists from around the world that are beginning to come together. And, like Jeanette Roberts. I mean, here's the dean of the School of Pharmacy at the University of Wisconsin. I mean, I've seen some of the companies that are out there and they have their medical board and and it's just low-level people standing behind them. When you look at who is standing behind Max, this is our medical advisory board. They receive no financial remuneration for being a part of this board. They understand the mission of what we have from a glutathione standpoint, which we'll talk about a bit more, and they understand what it can do for the world's health. And so Dr. Jeanette Roberts, Dr. Don Colbert, maybe some of you have heard of him. He's a New York Times best-selling author. He's a Fox News contributor, so he's on television often. He's one of the books that he wrote probably around 8 or so years ago called Toxic Relief. And the essence of this book was saying at some point, somebody's going to figure out something about glutathione because the problem with health is toxicity. And this is my simple explanation of Max International. So never mind all of the detail that I'll talk about. This is the simple of who we are and what we do. Everyone needs food, water, and oxygen, right? We all know that there are toxins throughout our food, water, and oxygen. And that messes up the system, just like a computer that's got a virus. It runs terrible. And you know what? If we raise our glutathione, which Max International has proprietary patents and technology to do so incredibly effectively, better than anything else, then we will cleanse the toxins and our bodies will rightly function with their food, water, and oxygen, and we will live the way we're supposed to. That is the simple. Food, water, and oxygen, toxins, glutathione cleanses the toxins, and our food, water, and oxygen work correctly. And so it's very simple. And so, but Dr. Colbert understands that. And so in his book, Toxic Relief, he was saying, at some point, somebody will come up with a way to do this intracellularly. Well, he just republished the book this year. And a nice section is on glutathione, the breakthrough is here, and he talks about Celgevity as the most incredible breakthrough for glutathione acceleration he will ever see in his lifetime. That's impressive, And I'll just give you a side story. Since I'm the guest speaker, I can do this. I was just in Fiji, and I was invited to speak to the commissioner over the military and the police for that country. Why was I invited? The average executive in Fiji is dying in their early 50s because of non-communicable diseases or degenerative diseases, diabetes and other things. And so this commissioner calls me into the office lets me speak to all of his executives because he says, my senior officers are dying. And so nobody's there to raise the next generation. Can you imagine if your mother or father died at 50, 52? What does that change for your teenage kids? What does that change for spouses and everything? Do you see that these ramifications of health are huge? And so this man's inviting me into his office to speak to his staff. You know, and so we came in and we had this wonderful meeting. I ended up meeting with a radio announcer for a Fiji radio program called Gold FM, and they were asking me all kinds of questions for the same issues, and they wanted to get me on the radio for an interview, but I was flying out, so I couldn't do it. But when I was going through the presentation, they all knew Dr. Colbert. Well, you know what? Dr. Colbert was willing. He called into the radio program. He got interviewed for an hour, and that was broadcast to the entire country of Fiji. So, you know what? I'm an ambassador for a company that's changing the world and is giving hope where right now people are laying in bed at night and they're saying, what can be done? And you know what? Bam! I am that answer. And you know what? So are you if you're willing to believe it and take action. So what brought them all together? Just like I said, declining health, over 80,000 chemicals in our air, water, and food, over 200 foreign chemicals that are found in the human blood. We know that glutathione cleanses the blood that carries the oxygen, repairs the mitochondrial DNA, a number of powerful things. Unprecedented levels of stress, our poor diets, lack of energy, fatigue. It's healthcare. We think of it in terms of government and so forth, but it's not. It's right down to the everyday level. Is your cell getting what it needs? Number two, financial crisis, poverty levels, unemployment, loss of opportunity. How many of you know that poverty and disease always go together, don't they? If there's poverty, there's going to be disease. If there's disease, does it affect the finances? Absolutely. And you know what? They call it the Leviathan of nations because it creates debt that kills not just countries, kills families, kills individuals, their ability to move and to grow. And so I don't believe you can overcome those by dealing with one. And I'm so excited to be a part of MAX where we have addressed them both together. Mike, if you'll go ahead and just run a short video that focuses on some of the product side of things.
Stop and consider vitamin C. It's one of the most successful supplements worldwide of all time. That's because the benefits of vitamin C have been scientifically validated. In fact, PubMed, the U.S. National Library of Medicine, contains 40,000 articles validating the health benefits of vitamin C. That's enormous scientific validation. Now get ready to hear a word that's about to change your life. Glutathione. That might be a word you're hearing for the very first time. But for decades, scientists and doctors around the world have known that glutathione is vital to human health. Allow me to explain. We all know that free radicals are bad for our health. They're so bad, in fact, that the cellular damage free radicals cause, called oxidative stress, is associated with at least 74 major diseases and disorders. The body, however, produces its own source of superior protection against oxidative stress. This protection is called glutathione. Simply put, glutathione is the body's master cell protector.
Glutathione is critical for everyday life and existence.
Glutathione is extremely important in the metabolism of every cell in the body, which leads to every tissue in the body and every organ function.
Glutathione is not a luxury item. It is critical for the functioning of every single cell in your body. The more you know about it, the more you realize, oh my gosh, I need to support this.
In fact, PubMed contains over 92,000 published articles validating glutathione's role in reducing oxidative stress. Over twice as many scientific articles have been published validating glutathione than have ever been published about vitamin C, because arguably the most effective single thing that many people could do to improve their health would be to increase their glutathione levels. Glutathione is as essential to human health as oxygen, water, and food, which is why for many years, doctors and scientists all over the world have worked to discover a way to deliver glutathione to the cells, but have never been able to do so effectively, until recently. Over the past several decades, 2 doctors in different parts of the world devoted their lives to glutathione. One was an acclaimed physician, The other is one of the world's most influential leaders in the field of medicinal chemistry. Working completely independent of each other, these two doctors achieved extraordinary breakthroughs in glutathione research and development. And after decades, each of these doctors was able to do what scientists before them were unable: develop technologies to successfully optimize glutathione production within our cells, safely, effectively, and proven by science. It's a revolution in health and wellness. And there's only one place you can find it: Max International. Both doctors, independent of each other, recognized Max International as the ideal company to deliver their technology and accomplishments to the world. That's over 25 years of research, 17 peer-reviewed articles, 25 patents and patents pending, and ribosine, a revolutionary proprietary compound that is the single most effective way to give your cells the components necessary to produce its own glutathione on demand. And it's available exclusively in Max products. Simply put, Max International offers products that are not only effective in safely and effectively optimizing our body's natural glutathione levels, but more effective than any glutathione product that has ever existed.
I was introduced to Max GXL about 6 months ago. Since then, I felt great, feel wonderful. Very quickly, I felt very strong about passing it on to friends and family.
I like to tell people at 53 years old, I was averaging 80 to 100 drivers a day, full built, going full speed, and I did it for 6 weeks. And you feel like, man, I can make the swing that I always used to make. And that's how I felt. I felt like a young kid again.
At the day of my life, I went 4 for 4. I set a total of 5 world records. The key, the true key to success is recovery. How fast can you recover so you can duplicate that workout again? And Max GXL has allowed me to do that at 49 years of age, almost 50.
I kind of put glutathione in everyday terms like this. Glutathione will bond to toxins and take them out of your system. You know, when I'm talking to the military or to the police, we know what it's like to have a bad cell in society, right? We have a human being that's there and he's messing everything up because he's stealing from everyone else because something's broke inside. That's what toxicity does inside your cells with free radical damage. It messes up that cell and it starts to steal from other cells and develops into cancers and all kinds of things. By being able to take that out, that's powerful what glutathione does. It's like the bouncer at the bar when things are going wrong, you know. And number 2, glutathione donates electrons. I mean, the cell that's in need, glutathione will give its own energy to put that cell back into balance so that it doesn't have to take from anyone else. It goes back to the way it's supposed to be. And so I look at glutathione as a very powerful molecule inside your cells. You saw all the science, but I think it's got a metaphor to it that makes it very attractive for me to represent around the world. So what is glutathione? It's produced naturally in every cell. It's the world's most powerful antioxidant. It detoxifies every cell in your body, which is why Dr. Colbert's so excited about it. It strengthens the immune system, reduces inflammation, and there are those that argue that the source of all disease is inflammation. You know, oxidative stress protects against that. So what are the benefits of glutathione and accelerating glutathione in your system? So let me ask you a question. How many here have experienced an energy increase taking Max's products? Yeah, wow. Well, that's everybody. It slows down the aging process, you know. That's why I look so young and, you know, handsome and whatever, you know. Now, it reduces muscle and joint discomfort. You know, you saw the athletes. Has anybody here had a reduction in, you know, muscle and joint discomfort with the product? Quite a few. Strengthens the immune system. I notice that I stay healthy when others are not. Liver and cell detoxification. Mental focus and clarity. You know, do you know, even the way I speak in front of the room, I am far more effective than I used to be without the product. I remember what I'm supposed to say, and I know what I'm supposed to say. I remember the words, and it's the right word. You know, that's powerful, isn't it? You know, and how does that change the way you go about business and life and relationships? It changes it, doesn't it? So you see the impacts of these things are very, very powerful. You know, improves the quality of sleep. I mean, there's a whole host of things that can happen if you're not sleeping well. How about sleep quality? Bunch of you. Effects of stress, you know, so you become a nicer person, you know. Improves the skin quality, And also athletic performance and recovery. Any athletes in the room that have had some significant? Yeah? Is there anybody here does anybody that had something they wanted to share that was significant? Brenda and Elaine? Okay. Would you just come up maybe and just share a personal experience that you feel like, the product's made an impact for you?
I basically suffered a spinal cord injury in 2001, pretty severe, to my neck and to my low back. I had to have a piece of bone from my hip and a plate put in my neck, my low back dug out. I suffered from arthritis, chronic pain for 12 years, paralysis down one side. I was my own Molotov cocktail with a host of baclofen, Percocet, you name it, I was on that prescription. Mediated it with epidurals, and as time transpired, I was told by conventional wisdom and all the naturopathy in the world, this was the new me, and I couldn't be in denial and deal with it. So what ended up transpiring is, inadvertently, one of the other members or associates said to me, Elaine, just try Cellgevity. Came back from a holiday not refreshed, took it, and within 3 days, I'm not kidding you, my 90-year-old mother said to me, what's different? I said, I don't know, Mom, I feel more energy. It's been about 2 months. I'm on 1/10 of my meds. It's unbelievable. Wow. So I'm pretty happy.
Thank you for sharing, Elaine.
My name is Brenda. I'm a personal support worker. Last year in March, I had a knee injury at work while helping a guy out of the wheelchair. His belt had hooked on, it was like a bungee cord, it hooked onto the wheelchair. So when I went to put him onto the floor, the wheelchair came over, my body turned, but my leg did not, and my kneecap slid off. And then I fell, he got on the floor okay, but I landed on the floor without my kneecap with all my pressure. So in a panic, I laid on my back and panicked, right, the tears, and I snapped my leg forward and my kneecap went back on, but you heard the bone snapping just like a pencil snap. And it was a year later, my knee was starting to swell. So they were going to start doing drilling to relieve the fluid and the water in my knee. And I'm a very active person. So I was in a lot of pain. And Deborah, my best friend, asked me to come here and, look at the products and stuff. And I said, listen, I need a lot of Advil and maybe some alcohol on top of it because I was in a lot of pain. And she said, here, try this. Take 2 in the morning and 2 at night. After 2 days, I texted her from work and I said, what did you give me? What's in the stuff? And she's like, why? Question mark, question mark. What happened? Question mark, question mark. I said, my knee is back to its normal size and I have no pain. I've been on Cellgevity a month and I'm starting 8 and 10K mountain bike riding.
Wow.
So I'm starting.
Thank you for sharing, Debbie. Wow. I didn't know what they were going to say, so that's great. Wow. I mean, obviously, we have something that really makes a difference in people's lives. And so what's the bad news about glutathione? Why is it that we're having such good results is that glutathione decreases. They say an average of 1% per year, so 10% a decade. And you see that as stress is increasing in people's lives, their glutathione production is decreasing, and you end up with one of these, health crisis times. And that comes from, aging, stress, toxins, sun exposure. I go to New Zealand quite a bit. There's a lot of sun exposure and, even, skin cancers and so forth because of where they are down there and the exposure to the sun. And so there is a real attraction to what we have because of some of the health issues and some of the challenges that are there. But lower levels of glutathione are linked to oxidative stress and cellular inflammation. Oxidative stress is associated with over 74 of the major diseases, and increased cellular inflammation leads to lower quality of life. And so, you can see that there is a connection point between low glutathione and health issues. And so I think it's quite an interesting thing to go out to PubMed, which is the Library of Congress, if you will, for published papers that medical doctors would look at, and put in the word glutathione and whatever it is that you're interested in researching and see the relationships that come up and the studies that have been done. It said 92,000 in our video. That video is just under 2 years ago, and now there's over 100,000 articles on glutathione. The focus in glutathione is incredible. And, I like to think of it as everyone's out there working in the hot sun or playing hard sports in the hot sun, and I own the water well. I know they're going to come see me at some point because I have what they want and what they need. And I feel the same way about our technology and what we have at Max. So glutathione levels are difficult to raise. The problem with raising glutathione in the past has been that the little sulfhydryl group, which is part of the cysteine molecule as a part of the glutathione, is a very delicate and fragile molecule. And when it goes through the stomach for digestion, it gets destroyed. That little sulfhydryl group. That's the part that enables it to bond to a toxin or to donate an electron. And if that gets damaged, it's ineffective. Won't work. And so that's what's been the issue. And so for many doctors, they'll say, you can't supplement glutathione orally. It'll be destroyed. And they're right. And same with cysteine. If you tried to take cysteine supplements, the sulfhydryl group gets destroyed in the stomach digestion. And they're correct. But that's what was so special about Dr. Keller and Dr. Nagasawa. They said there's got to be a way. And they just kept at it till they found it. And so, so how can we effectively maintain glutathione levels? Ribosine, the glutathione solution. Dr. Keller started with N-acetylcysteine and a support group of nutrients. Dr. Nagasawa came along and said, you know what, I see a better way of doing it. And he took cysteine with ribose, which is a very basic sugar, and I can talk about this more later, but he basically protected that sulfhydryl group with a very simple sugar called ribose. By bonding it together, now it goes right through the stomach, doesn't get destroyed. When it gets inside the cell, the body will pull the cysteine to use for glutathione production, and ribose is a basic sugar which fuels the mitochondria for ATP or energy production inside the cell. And so when Dr. Keller had heard about it, as I'm told, he said, that is so simple. Why didn't I think of that? But Dr. Nagasawa, came along, and you know what? We all do our part, don't we? Sometimes we bring something so far and somebody else takes it the next run. And I'm so proud to be a part of a company where two of these great doctors, kind of like a baton, relay race, we are running the race to impact health and wellness around the planet. Well, glutathione enhancement, Cellgevity, is our flagship premier product. Why is it so special? It really contains the legacy of Dr. Keller's breakthrough technology, which he had a number of support ingredients, vitamin C, milk thistle, cordyceps, a number of things that he brought together that would help get the cysteine where it was meant to be and not used for anything else. It has ribosine as its core, which is Dr. Nagasawa's technology that I just explained. It has ace mannan from aloe vera. Now, my industry history in networking, I spent 15 years with another company. We grew a company to $450 million in sales, and I was one of the top distributors there. The doctor who's on the patent for that technology that I marketed came over and joined Max, had a brilliant health experience like some of the ones you are sharing, and so when it came time for Cellgevity to move forward, there was a phone call between him and David Bagley, and he said, I know where the best resource for the active ingredient in aloe vera is, and that was the core technology we had in the other company. And so that's a part of Cellgevity. Dr. Don Colbert has spent years in integrative medicine, and he was saying the turmeric root, or the curcumin is another way to say it. He said, no, this has to be involved. I've been doing studies in my office and so forth. So this is a legacy product. Dr. Keller, Dr. Nagasawa, Dr. Reg McDaniel, Dr. Don Colbert, and, all of this converging. I mean, bam, this is the product, So I love, Cellgevity, and it is our, the convergence of all that we've been working on. And so it's another big step forward in what we have at Max International. So, okay, so we have these proprietary breakthrough products. These are the retail price in US dollars. The suggested retail for Cellgevity, $97. There's a wholesale price of $79 that you can access as a preferred customer or a distributor. But we have a special program called the Loyalty Program. If you're willing to take our products for 90 days or more, so 3 months, we'll give you an additional percentage off. I mean, big percentage, like 30% off. Why? Because we know that over the 90-day period, we're going to get you an experience that's going to take it from being science and scientists and doctors to your own personal experience. I mean, what's the difference between everything I shared and then Elaine sharing her testimony? Do you see the difference? It has to become real for you. We don't want you to just trust us. We want you to experience the benefits of what we're able to give you. We have other products. We have an energy shot, called Max ATP. It has the ribosine at its core. And just a little bit on this, I like to compare pick out some other energy drink out there or energy shot. It'll push your adrenals. It'll make you feel like you have energy, but there's going to be a payday, right? There's going to be a correction point where all of a sudden your body says, that wasn't there, and you thought it was. Crash. And I look at that like business opportunities. There are a lot of business opportunities that are like, hey, we got the money, we got the system, look at how easy all this is. And you go and you get excited, you invest your money, you're pushing, and then suddenly you realize there's no value exchange for this product. People don't want this product at what they're paying for it. It's only that they thought they were buying opportunity that they did this. That is not us at Max. Over 50% of our company revenues are for people who never get involved in our business model. They just want our product for the money they spend. Do you know that is the essence of authentic business that's sustainable in a global economy? That's why I love Max. The fundamentals are so strong. You know what we're looking for? People that would experience, believe, and then share with somebody else. And we'll change the world. So these are our numbers. You saw Max GXL. We also have a skincare line, once again, aloe vera based, not water based like most skincare lines. In our Max Amino Nutrient Complex, which is really the core of this, they showed a 44% reduction in wrinkle depth in 30 days. Very breakthrough. So if you're interested in the skincare line, we have something to show you. So Max's purpose is to empower people to experience better health. And so that's been the focus of what we've been emphasizing, but also success and significance. I mean, how good does the person feel who introduced Elaine to the product, or Brenda? They go to bed at night, and now they're thinking, wow, I have an awesome job, don't I? That's powerful. So we'd like you to experience all of Max's purpose. So, you can get involved from a product standpoint by becoming a preferred customer. It's free to join. You buy direct for a wholesale pricing from the company. It's what we encourage people to do, just to get on our products. There's a friends and family referral program. If you go ahead and, even just as a customer, you say, hey, I really like what I'm experiencing, and 3 other people decide to buy that same product that you're taking, the company will send you your product for free. That's a thank you for referring. And so the company keeps track of that. Your order gets sent to your door. You can set and forget about your auto ship, so it'll come every month so you don't run out of product. You can cancel at any time, and there is a 30-day satisfaction guarantee with Max. Remember, this is Bill Guthrie, Greg Reninger, Steve Scott. These are people that do business around the world, billions of dollars. You're absolutely safe buying from us. And if somebody retailed you a product, you can return that to them saying, hey, I wasn't satisfied. As long as you document that transaction, that receipt showing that you had refunded somebody their money, you send that into Max, they'll send you a new bottle of product to sell to the next person. So the company bears the weight of the quality of our product. Now, on the health tracking form, things like energy, your mood, the clarity of the thought, the quality of your sleep, your muscle, your joint recovery, all these different elements. Even on the skincare side, we have a 90-day health challenge tracker, which is now being handed out, where you can say, how did I feel before I started on the product? And how was I after week 1 and week 2? Because you know what? I've had some people come to me and say, I don't feel anything. And I start through the list. Well, how's your energy level? Oh, actually, I do have more energy. How's your sleep? I am, and it's kind of like sometimes you have to help people go, hey, let's look at the checklist. You go in for your oil change, you get the 21-point checklist. This is what you do with somebody to let them know that, hey, you actually are having a quality of life change if you're looking at the right places. I'm going to run you a short video now if you want to go ahead and hit that. And this just talks a little bit about the business side of what we have at Max.
This is it. This is your chance to own a piece of the global distribution rights to the most important anti-aging discovery we will witness in our lifetime. This is the time to position yourself in front of the biggest megatrends in the history of our economy. This is your chance to achieve the financial freedom you've always dreamed of. This is the opportunity to change your life with a company that is changing the world.
I can't describe to you how good I feel.
Everything has gone up. Every power output has increased. The ability to work has increased.
Max has opened up some more doors for me physically.
I think that anyone taking a look at this could seriously have a life-changing experience.
This is Max International. In business, as in life, timing is everything. So many jobs require you to trade your time for money. But there are only so many hours in a day. And the second you stop working, your income stops too.
As a physician, I'm very aware that if I'm not in the office seeing patients, then no income is coming in.
Timing can make and break your entire career. Take a look around. As so many people today can testify, when the industry you're working for goes down, you go down with it. True success, success that is life-changing and lasting, comes from taking advantage of the right opportunity at the right time. Imagine that you could own a piece of the worldwide vitamin C industry. Now imagine that you could be a part of the only company in the world that distributes vitamin C. With Max International, you can be a part of an opportunity that is much, much bigger. Right now, 2 megatrends are sweeping the economic world. Network marketing is a $120 billion a year industry with 65 million people in over 100 countries, and it's expected to explode over the next few years. Health and wellness is a multi-billion-dollar industry and set to become the next trillion-dollar industry. And by joining Max International, you'll position yourself in front of both of the world's biggest megatrends backed by products that can only be found at Max International. Products that are category-defining, scientifically validated, and life-changing. Max International is changing health and wellness as we know it. And this is your opportunity to become a part of it, to partner with some of the most gifted business minds to ever assemble in one company, who have built companies that have generated billions in sales, to get paid to tell the world what the world is desperately waiting to hear. This is your chance to change your life with a company that is changing the world.
This company is exceptional. These products are unbelievable. And this opportunity is global.
That's really what Max International is becoming, is a platform where people can tap into their passion and their talents.
No matter where you live or what language you speak, Max has opportunities for you.
You see, who we partner with is the single greatest decision we make in life, whether it's in marriage or in business. At Max International, we believe we are the right partner for you.
Don't look back at this as your great missed opportunity. It's important to act quickly to secure your spot in Max. Get with the person who introduced you to this video, and they can show you how to get started today.
So what we're going to talk about now is if you are interested in not just experiencing our product, and if that's all you have an interest in, we are so glad to have you involved with us and our ability to serve you well on that side. But for many people, it isn't just healthcare, it is economic. And there are lifestyle changes that are possible when you are a part of a business like this. And so if we walk through how you can earn income in Max, I'm also going to share a little bit because I feel like this is actually the track that you could follow to build a business as well, is just following this simple compensation system. Number one, if you look at the upper left-hand corner, you'll see that you can retail product. So if you were to buy a business pack and you were to turn around and sell those products to somebody else, there's the ability to have a return of investment. Now your investment is back into your household, and you're in the black, and you have a business that now has people experiencing a product. All that you put out has come back. Your spouse is happy with you. You're in a business that is turned profitable. Number two, you will have people that say, you know what, I'm interested in this product. Not looking for a business, very happy with what I do, but I want this product. They can become preferred customers, and you'll receive 25% of whatever they order. So if they ordered $100 or $200 worth of product, you would have $25 or $50 that would come back to you as a commission. The company will send that commission the week after they make the purchase. So it's 1 week delay on that. Number three, some of those folks will say, and actually I understand we have about a 33% conversion rate, that people go from being preferred customers initially and then later say, you know what, I'm actually really happy not just to refer this, but would like to see if I'm going to pick a business, this is the business I'd like. And so those people become involved in the business. They may buy a business pack. We have two different types of pack, a professional and a premier pack, 7 bottles of product or 15 bottles of product basically. And there are commissions on the product that's in those packs. And it's a $75 US commission on the professional pack, which is $549, and a $150 commission on the Premier Pack, which is $9.99 US. And so you see fast track bonuses. If you were to involve 3 people in the same month, so 3 people came in and bought those packs. So if you put out 15 bottles of product and 3 of those came back and said, I'm going to do a business with you. They buy a business pack. The company will give you what's called double fast track commissions. So instead of a 75 or a 150, it's 150 or 300. They send you that check at the end of the month after you've done 3 or more. So if you had 5 people, you'd just get double fast track on all of them. And it's the company's way of saying, we really want to put the money with the people who are promoting the mission of Max. We want to give you that extra incentive. So if you wanted to move into making stronger income quicker with Max, that's what that's there to do. Double fast track. There's also something called team volume commissions. You know, when you build Max, you end up building in a 2-team dynamic. So let's say, you know, the right side of the room and the left side of the room, these are my 2 teams. We'd total up the volume for each side. You know, let's say there was 20,000 of volume here and 10,000 of volume here. The company would then pay me 10% of whatever the total volume is on the lower side. And so it doesn't matter whether you're on my first level or my 10th level, it's the group volume total. And I would receive, in that case, a $1,000 check from Max. This 10,000 of volume would reduce and go away. 10,000 would come off of my stronger team, so I'd have a 10,000 of volume that would be stored for the next month to be used for calculations, and we would go into the next month. So that's how what's called the team commission would operate, and that's a maximum of $25,000 in a month. So that's quite a generous compensation plan, and part of the strength of what that's called, the binary compensation. If you've ever been inside of a business that's one of these networking type businesses where it's maybe 7% for 7 levels of compensation, well, what happens if you're on the 8th level from the person who really knows how to build the business? Do they help you? It's not that they're bad people, it's just that they're out of their pay zone, right? Well, with this kind of a compensation, you could be 100 levels from the builder, and if this is their low volume team, they're looking for anyone who wants to work it, and they come, get alongside of you, and so it provides much better compensation. And that's why you see, you know, people like Mike and Chris and Tammy and different ones and Lynn, they're able to get out there and support. How does that happen? It's because this is a better compensation plan. It's a hybrid. And so it doesn't just stop there. We do have something called the matching check, where, you know, let's say it was you who received the $1,000 check. And maybe Alton over here, I'm just going to pick on you, Alton, if you don't mind. So Alton over here, you know, he's my first level. I sponsored Alton. He's getting a $1,000 team check. I, depending on my leadership level, will get anywhere from a 25% match up to a 50% match of whatever I can help you with. So you can see the leaders not only are building their own teams, they're helping individuals build their teams. And that can actually go for 7 levels of different percentage of matching. And that's all there on the form. And if you look at that upper right-hand corner with the matching checks, you'll see things like bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, double diamond, so forth. And you'll see that there's potential or target incomes. So if you're saying, hey, I'm interested in Max and I'd like to build a business, I know for me, any position I've ever taken at a career or office at the Federal Reserve or whatever, I negotiated my salaries. I knew where I wanted to be and what I needed to do to make that happen. So look across the top there and pick out, do you want a $500 or more a month income? You should target bronze. You know, maybe Joe, if you don't mind, would you just come up and just maybe share a little bit of your YMAX business testimonial? And come on up front. We're going to put you up there. I'll hold the mic for you. Yeah, that's right. See if you're as good as your wife. Now Joe here, he's owned his own construction company for some 20 years. He's generated a lot of money doing construction, doing good work. But you know what? There's something about the Max mission that has attracted him to say, you know, George, I've done this for a long time, but I love doing Max, and I want to make this go. And so he's already hit, you know, this gold level of income. And so what we do is we get offline and we strategize. Okay, Joe, you want to go to the next level? This is what we're going to do and how to do it. And so just share your passion and why Max.
I had a triple bypass, and this is why when we were talking about it earlier on, the product was brought to us, and it changed my wife's life, it changed our lives, and what we've experienced in the last 3 years, has just overwhelmed us, and we want to give back to the world. And I was talking to you earlier, I want to grow this to a point because we need to tell everybody about this. We've heard the people coming up here, the two ladies that came up. Those are the kind of stories that we've had. I've had people come in and cry on our shoulders and saying thank you for giving my life back, and that touches your heart. And from someone who's had his heart worked on, that is important. And wonderful people like yourself. Thank you, Mike, Chris, Tammy. I mean, it's been a pleasure. We have a great team. We have great people that we work with. The products are real. The owner, we've met Stephen Scott and all those people, and I'm telling you, these are real. For the people that are new here, this is the real deal. These are real people and real products, and I love it. Thanks.
I was 51 at the time. I'm 54 now. I was going through menopause and didn't sleep, highly irritable. I was miserable. And at the same time,
You've done enough of that,
yeah. At the same time, though, we were under a lot of stress. He owns a construction company. He was recuperating from bypass. In all honesty, I thought I was going to be a widow from a Thursday to a Sunday. Life was not good. And everything that we thought about how to do business, how to do life, just was not working out. So we had a big wake-up call. And just from a pure product experience, on the third day I felt Max GXL, I slept 8 hours. I felt like a different person. My background is business. I thought I need to get stock in this company right away. That was my first thought. I called her, and she goes, I don't know. After that, I just went on an investigative journey, and I probably took a little bit longer than most. Sorry I did that, but in one way I'm not, because what I discovered and what I found, like we had such a treasure here, and I got very, very excited. We feel like we have a moral obligation to do what we're doing, and it's a blessing. God's rewarding us for doing what we're doing. I'm not even going to apologize. It's a wonderful company, wonderful people. We're doing what we're supposed to be doing, and it feels wonderful. So thank you for allowing me to do that.
I just want to thank you, Tammy and Chris, to start with. I'm very grateful for her faithfulness and consistent in calling me and sending me info until I had a chance to listen to Dr. Colbert CD, and that's what, and I called her, she was in IKEA. I think she was surprised that I called her, that I said, I want to sign up, and that was it, and I have been able to help quite a few friends and sharing about the product, and everybody was so excited, ended up using the product and joining the business, and well, thank you again, Tammy and Chris. I'm very grateful. Wonderful company and incredible product.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good day. Much the same as the other gentleman was up there. We own several businesses, one of which is a multi-million-dollar company. Been looking for other business opportunities over the last year, looked at a lot of businesses. Excuse me. Max International is the best business proposition I've seen in all the companies I've looked at. I had the opportunity to go down to Utah for the convention, specifically to check the company out, not to participate in the convention. And I've said before, the company is bulletproof, the product is bulletproof. We started a family business, and I'm planning to double my own income in the next 3 to 5 years and making both my kids millionaires.
Hi everybody, my name's Anne Bushell. I'm from right here in Toronto. And I'm more excited about Max today than I was 3 years ago when I came on board. I've been in the industry for the last 16 years with one former company, and that was part-time. And when I moved over to Max, it was initially from a financial decision. But what I found is not only is the financial aspect awesome, but the products, of course, are totally brilliant. So it's really a win-win situation. Now, before Max, I had my own daycare business, which I loved. But when I was introduced to the concept of network marketing and began to understand the power of leverage, I was hooked. I knew that this was the way to go. Okay? Now, what we have to think about today is that there's no job security out there. So you need a plan B. So if you don't have a plan B, you need to look closely at what we have, because this can be your plan B right through to retirement and beyond. And building your own security, and consider partnering with us, because we would love to have you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So exciting. You know, you see the leadership dynamics. I mean, the incomes just go up. There's a platinum, $5,000 a month, diamond, $10,000 a month, double diamonds, and we have some of these in the room. I mean, Chris and Tammy are leaders in the company. They're on the advisory board for the company. They have an international team, some of the top earners in the company. Diamond, double diamond, Mike LeBrun, you know. I mean, truly, you have a wealth of resources here in the Toronto area because Chris and Tammy and Mike are all willing to come over so regularly to see this area developed. And so you have some of the best business builders in the company at your resource here. And I'm just so blessed to be invited to come up and partner and hang out, have fun, and do what we love to do here. So as we go on, there is still more money to be earned in Max. There's something that I call the profit-sharing pools. We have a global bonus pool, a leadership bonus pool. And this is wonderful because this is where you get the unity in the company. So I was in Fiji, I was in Singapore, I'm in New Zealand, and I have teams growing there. You know what? Every month, the revenue from my teams, you can have access to that income through the global bonus pool. If you're growing that low volume team by at least 1,000 of volume, you're going to get a share in 2.5% of the total company sales. So that means my organization, other people's organizations, you know, Tom Vaughn, you know, the builder for the Greg Norman Alliance, all of our volume you have access to for income. So that makes us a family, doesn't it? We can earn by encouraging each other and doing the best we can for one another. So I love the profit-sharing pools. And the last thing, a max living bonus. You know, I see some companies out there that are, you know, pushing BMWs or whatever, you know, car bonus they're running. Well, you know, the statistic on the backside is a lot of people get the car bonus and then fall out of the commission, and now they've got this car payment that they have to make every month. Max went away from that. What we did is create something called the Max Living Bonus. You can use it for a car if you want, anywhere from $500 up to $1,500 a month. You know, for your leadership rank, you can use it for a car, but others are using it for supporting an orphanage. They're using it to get out of debt, to, you know, as travel resources to put out there for their downline to be able to take the trips that they need to do. So you can use that bonus money any which way you like, and it isn't binding like some of these other companies that seem to be pretty old school stuff to me. But anyways, that's the 9 ways you can earn income with Max. And it's a lot of fun to get the check and go, now where did that piece come from? Oh, okay, that's great. So how do you get started? If you want to build a Max business, I encourage you, get a Max business pack. $49 US will get you distribution rights to the company. And you know, sometimes when we're in low-income environments, I've seen 3 families go together. Everyone buys a $49 position, and then the person who came in first, the 3 families split the price of the business pack, go move that product, come back in, buy the pack for the second person, they split it up again. Do you see, sometimes you have to do guerrilla warfare business. When economics are a challenge, there is a way to overcome, and it's typically by working together. And so I've seen that work. We have a personal pack if you want to experience the products, or you know, the skincare line for $179. We have a professional pack, like I said, 7 bottles of product for $549. A premier pack, 15 bottles of product, or a combo pack for $9.99. And once again, those commissions are on the product that are in those packs, you know, anywhere from $30 to $150 on the fast track bonus. And if you go ahead and do, you know, 3 people or more in a single month, that can double. So that's getting started in the business. So how is it that you build your business? I've walked you through compensation, given you some ideas. It's 2 things as your focus. Number 1, build your team. You know, you're going to always be looking, how can I help not just the people on my strong team, but especially those people on the low volume team to get where they need to be. And that's how you're going to build that $25,000 a month income. The second thing is build your people. Get in with those that you've personally sponsored, that are a part of your, you know, kind of like I go around the world and I help families around the world. But I have my own kids, you know, and I focus on my own kids far more than I do the other people's children, because that's my responsibility. That's where I'm the most important, is to their lives. You have to do that same thing. Be a person that supports the whole, but take care of your teams, and especially those people that are looking for you to be their key resource in building their business by building people. And you can earn anywhere, like I said, 25 to 50% income on the first level, 10% on the second generation, you know, 9% on the third, 9% on the fourth, 8% on the fifth, you know, 7% on the sixth, all the way down to 6% on the 7th generation. That is a lot of money. That is where the wealth building is in the company. For some of us in the room, we've passed the $25,000 a month on the team commissions. And so what we spend our time doing is working with the teams in our organization that we've got personal sponsorship with, helping them grow that second team. And so that's where, when you're moving into a 7-figure income, that's where that income's going to come from. So build your team and build your people. So Max is here to support you. We were established in a number of international markets, and I love international markets. U.S., Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Philippines, Singapore, Colombia, Quebec. Sorry. So I've been sitting with all the French this morning going, no parlez-vous français, So I enjoy the cultural differences. But we've achieved $200 million in sales in our first 5 years, and we've paid out over $100 million in commissions. And, I just encourage you, be some of that $100 million for the next chunk. So when you look at who is partnering with Max, it's not just sporting experts from around the world, which is a whole demonstration. When you have the elite athletes taking your product with no financial remuneration, they're putting out their names saying, use our name. When you can move the bar for them of quality of life and their physical experiences, that's saying something because their bodies are already fine-tuned machines, So we have that, whether it's boxers or basketball players or Carlos Valderrama, who is a international, soccer, football, if you're from the other parts of the world, champion. And these people are saying, we want to use our name. We love Max and what it's doing for us. But also people like Greg Norman. I mean, Greg Norman, how many people know who Greg Norman is? He's the elite, golfer, athlete, kind of the global Tiger Woods without some of the press, diligence. And this is what I want to encourage you. The biggest thing you have to risk when you do a business like this, and it is a risk, is your reputation. There's an old proverb says it's better to have a good name than to have great riches. And so I want you to look at, Stephen Scott, Bill Guthrie, Greg Reninger, these doctors that have come and partnered with Max, and these athletes as well as somebody like Greg Norman, who's come along with all of his resources, grabs our CEOs in the back room, disclosed, if you're going to have my name, I need to know all of this. They've looked at our books. They've, all the things that they had to do to decide to partner with us. I mean, don't you wish you had the resources to do all that? But you know why they had to do that? Their name. They can't damage their name, and neither can you. But I want you to know, if our business is good enough for all of these people, isn't it good enough for you? You can feel safe. 30-day satisfaction on products. You are safe doing business with Max, and I don't think you can say that about many companies. And so, Greg Norman is my sponsor, so he gets his matching check on me. And so, anyways, I had the privilege of, getting to know him a bit at the convention. But anyways, he's got his expert builders, and if any of you have met Tom Vaughn, he's the builder for the Greg Norman Alliance, and I really enjoy him. What a unity builder. Powerful. Anyways, Stephen K. Scott is the one, like I said, who is the lightning rod that brought this together. Steve Scott is a well-known man, and he is the founder of our company, and I think that's where you really find your rest with being a partner with Max, and it's why I came. But go ahead and run this video if you don't mind.
Tonight, a multimillionaire after losing 9 jobs in 8 years, Steve Scott shares life-changing lessons he learned from the richest man who ever lived. Welcome back to Larry King Live. A great pleasure to welcome a return visit with Stephen K. Scott, one of the good guys, multimillionaire, marketing entrepreneur, motivational speaker, helped build more than a dozen multi-million-dollar companies from scratch, co-founded American Telecast, and his new book, a terrific read, is Lessons from the Richest Man Who Ever Lived. The man was King Solomon, Secrets to Success, Wealth, and Happiness. How did you come across this idea?
Well, I had flunked out of 6 jobs in my first 4 years after college, and a friend was staying at the house. And I said, Gary, I don't understand it. I got a business degree, I work hard, I'm first in, last out, and no matter what I do, I can't hold a job, I can't get ahead of the game, I'm always behind. And he said, well, let me think about it. And the next morning, we woke up, and he came in and said, I've got the answer. I said, you've got the answer? He said, yeah, how'd you like to be smarter than all your bosses? And I go, yeah, right. I'm 25 years old and broke. And he said, no, there's something you could do. If you do it, in 2 years you'll be wiser than all your bosses, and I'll bet in 5 years you're a millionaire. And that really made me laugh because I didn't even have grocery money at the time. And he said there's 31 chapters in the book of Proverbs, 31 days in the month. Every day read the chapter of the day and write down the wisdom and insights you gain. Do that for 2 years and I promise you'll get wiser. Well, literally 2 years and 2 months later, we started on job number 10, started a little business, and the rest is history.
Founder of my company, and he says he's one of the good guys. And he's written a book called The Richest Man Who Ever Lived. He failed miserably in jobs and so forth. He learned some things about strategies and wisdom in business and has become a millionaire and has put a number of people into that same situation by empowering them. Isn't that nice? I mean, I know, it's like, what a great company. I want to work with Max. Yeah, so that's why I just want you to be encouraged. You never need to be ashamed. This is a brilliant emerging business model. I think we are the next generation of what network marketing has always wanted to be. And I think that we have something that is a health initiative that's brilliant. And when your issue is finances, Dr. Nagasawa and Dr. Keller are good, but they're not who you need to be listening to at that moment. That's great for product. But what has Stephen Scott and this Max team done for certain people? You know, your own Chris and Tammy Gingras. I mean, here they, facing bankruptcy, got involved in Max and are now some of the top earners in the company. And you know how that's happened? They've made serving others their passion, and they've done well for it. Matter of fact, Chris and Tammy are my upline in the binary, so. Alex and Claudio Monterosa had to make a choice between paying the electric bill or buying their business pack with Max. And now they're some of the top earners of the company as well. And you can just see. I mean, they had marital challenges. There was a lot going on in their life. And through the ability to create income, you know, one of the biggest reasons for divorce to happen is financial stress. And so we can change lives there as well. So that's wonderful for Claudio and Alex Monterosa. And then Grinny and Joe, his wife, you know, this is a man, you know, you talk about micro businesses. This guy was selling reed wallets in the Philippines. In the Philippines, the average income is about $300 a month. So when you look, and you know, I've had people say, well, this isn't a cheap product. And I say, yeah, but it's not a cheap product either, you know. This gentleman had lost it all. His health was challenged. You know, actually, they weren't married because he says, I'm not going to marry you until I can have something to support you. And somebody came along and gave him basically a micro loan. His uncle gave him a loan so he could buy his business pack. And he went from being in the small community in the outskirts of, I think it was Cebu in the Philippines, to where that network, because of network marketing, turned out that Makati and Manila and some of the larger cities, this man has business all over the Philippines, which is now going global. You know, he's, you know, a diamond, that's a six-figure income. He's got car, house, he's married, his health is brilliant. I mean, this is the story of going into a developing nation, getting somebody connected in Max by the power of the product and the network marketing dynamic. This man has income that's come back and it's changed his life. You know what? And this is what I do for a living. And I invite you, this is what you can do for a living as well. So Steve Scott likes to say it this way. At Max, success isn't measured by dollars alone. It's measured by the extraordinary changes we bring into the lives of individuals and their families. We invite you to join us and to play an active role in empowering people to experience better health, success, and significance. So if you're interested from a product dynamic, there's something called a preferred customer we talked about. Get on the product, track your health for the next 90 days, and see what we're capable of doing for you. If you're interested in the business and the product, we have something that we call the Fast Track 90-Day Challenge. Remember, 3 people in a single month gets double Fast Track commissions. If you go out there, put the products out, see that kind of experience, you can earn over $2,700 by just having 9 people get involved in your business over the next 90 days. So that's another challenge we encourage you to go after. And if you're interested to learn more, get with the person who invited you or grab one of us afterwards, and we'll go ahead and do our best to answer the questions the best we can. So thank you for coming. God bless you.